If you're somebody who forgets to water, this could be great for you. If you're somebody who kind of comes in and out of gardening as a hobby, this can be great for you. If you're somebody who super feels guilty about not watering your plants, but you want to get started gardening and you're nervous about that, this is a great place to start. Hi, I'm Kendall. Welcome to my greenhouse. I wanted to show you an EarthBox delivery that I just got in case you have ever been curious about them. I looked up really quick when I bought my first EarthBox container, and it was 2009. So this is actually the end of 2009. This is my 15-year anniversary of buying 4 EarthBox containers for an apartment balcony when I lived in Seattle and was going to school. So it turns out I haven't just been gardening for 5 years. I've been gardening for a long time, but I thought I was interested in vegetable gardening, and I think I'm maybe a little more interested in flowers. We'll see. Turns out interests change over time, so maybe I'll be interested in gardening vegetables again, but I digress. I've been using my EarthBox containers as a plant hospital. If you have ADHD or you're a part-time gardener like me, you might understand the concept of plants that you've bought or have that you are maybe slowly killing. So you have to put them somewhere to try to bring them back to life. And that's what my EarthBoxes have been for me, because they have a self-watering system in them. So I feel like maybe there's a little more chance that they will stay alive despite me, because there's a reservoir of water underneath them. So I just wanted to walk you through really quick what the setup looks like. I don't know if you're familiar with self-watering containers or how they work, but I'm just going to try to do a little quick overview for you. They have some videos on their website, and I was looking at them earlier, and they're just like super old. So that's fine. They're good, but it's always nice to see like kind of a fresh new review of something pop up on YouTube, so you know it's not just like an out-of-date company or whatever. They're still very much adding new products, adding improvements, and really it's just a great product. And my containers are going strong after 15 years. And I don't have a lot of things I can say that about, because I haven't been gardening regularly for 15 years outside of my EarthBox containers. So I bought 4 of these because I have so many plants in the greenhouse where I just need to get them in the ground really quick, or they need to have some moisture or whatever, and have like a holding area, right, for plants until I can find them a spot outside or put them in another like decorative container or something, right? So I bought 4 of these. I bought them with casters. Casters is optional. So really the core of the system, there's only 3 parts that you get. So I'm going to walk you through that. And then I have a 4th part that's casters. And then they actually have a bunch of other parts that you can buy for, like, if you want things to grow tall and like, what's the word? Like you want a trellis to grow it up on, or like have a mulch cover to prevent weeds and stuff like that. They have a lot of accessories. So what I'm going to show you today is the main container. There's a screen and there's a tube to get the water down into the reservoir. So let me just take it out really quick and put it where this box is, and we'll talk about it. Here's the screen. Whoa, too close. Here's the container. All right, so here's the main container. I bought the original size. It comes with a cute little logo now on the end, and the bottom of it looks like this. There are holes. There are holes if you want to put casters in the bottom. And this is just a little indentation, and this is a hole. This is where the overflow is. So if you fill past the line where the water reservoir is in the bottom, it'll actually drain out of this hole, which is great. So a lot of times when I'm watering, I just water and I watch the hole until the water starts pouring out, and then I know that the reservoir is full. It actually might make more sense to kind of look at the shape of the screen. So you'll see that there's a space for the watering pipe to go in. So what this pipe does is it bypasses the soil, so you can get water directly down into the reservoir. Now technically you can just water the top, or the rain can go into the top of the soil. I think I can multitask, and obviously I can't because I stopped talking while I was trying to assemble things. So the rain can go onto the top of the soil and make its way down to the reservoir as well, but you can fill it up through this tube and then it won't be as muddy or dirty and the water will go directly down into there. So really, I just did the assembly for you. There's just these three main pieces. There's the space in the bottom where the water holds, and then you put growing medium here, and you have this pipe here on the side to bypass. This is optional. You could really still use the reservoir system just by soaking so much water into the system that it kind of holds it down in the reservoir. But I think this is a nice clean way to get water down in there. You do have to kind of watch out for leaves and things depending on where you store these. You don't want this pipe to get clogged. That actually tends to be the main thing when I have to clean out the container. I have to like push the soil away and like clean this pipe out. That's the main thing that happens. And then they've got these two pockets in the side that you want to make sure and firm your soil down into so there's no air pockets, and the roots will grow down into there, and that's where there's a lot of water and the roots can wick up, and the soil will go in there and the soil will wick up. So they do recommend when you put soil in the first time having it moistened, and I think that's just so that you're not having teeny tiny particles of soil going in between these this grate at the bottom and filling your reservoir with soil instead of water. I'm not worried about it. I just filled 2 containers without thinking about that. But if you're worried about soil particles making your reservoir full of too much dirt, then moisten it first. The soil kind of sticks to itself a little bit and less of it will get down into that area of your container. So let's talk about the reasons that I use this really quick. I mentioned a little bit at the beginning, it's kind of like my holding station where I can hold plants until I'm ready to get them in the ground. You don't have to grow that way. You can grow herbs in here on a balcony and that would be great. That was my original intention. You can grow vegetables, although they do sell like a vegetable one that I think has a deeper root system that's like square if you want to try that. Really, for me, it's perfect for a holding station, so I'm just going to call it that. I call it my plant hospital, but here it's hopefully going to be less of a hospital and more of just a like transitional place where something needs to get in the dirt quickly, and I don't have to like scramble around for a pot and soil, and I can just pop it in the dirt. It can start to establish, and then I can transplant it somewhere else. That's how I will be using it. If I didn't have a greenhouse, like I said, I still have it. My other ones are tucked up in a kind of shady side of my house against the house so that they're a little bit warmer and protected. And that's working fine for me. I mean, stuff dies in there and stuff relives and revitalizes in there, and it just kind of gives it some hope. So that's my plan about what to do with them. For inside the greenhouse, I did buy casters. So I can just wheel them around in the greenhouse. This is what the casters look like. Just like your run-of-the-mill casters. It looks like they have a little locking mechanism on them. And all you do is shove them in the holes on the bottom. Installed, done. If they're inside or on a deck, I would say get the casters. For a deck, they will lift them up off the ground, so there's less likelihood that you're gonna like gather slugs or dirt or anything on the bottom, and then just keep some aeration there, and then when the water pools out from the hole, you will be able to see it. I think maybe the only thing I didn't say that I wanted to was underneath this screen, they have all these like little protrusions that help to hold this up. You'll notice in the one corner where the pipe goes down, there are these little ridges. And that's so that the pipe rests on the ridges and it never sits flush with the bottom of the container where maybe the water would just get stuck in the pipe or something like that. It sits on the ridges so that the water flows out into the system. Let me see if I can get a close up on that. You see the ridges? All right, and then I'm gonna try to hold this at an angle so you can see how deep right here the water reservoir is before it will leak out of this hole and tell you that it is full. And then it has all these little places in the middle and the side for the screen to rest so that it doesn't collapse under the weight of the soil that you put in there. And there's the little hole. So that's the whole thing. Okay, let's talk really quick about why you might want a self-watering container. It's a holding station, right? So it's more hands-off. So if you're not a full-time 100%, I'm out in my garden every day kind of gardener, or you go through periods where you're just like not interested in gardening and don't feel like going out and doing anything, this can be great just because it can keep your plants alive a little bit longer, right? Because they have the opportunity to absorb some rain, and hold it and store it in there and then wick it up later. And if it gets too much rain or water in there, it'll take care of itself and drain it out. So I love my EarthBox. If you have questions, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully I covered all the stuff that I was thinking about covering. I actually wrote on the list why it's good for ADHD gardening, which I think I covered, right? If you have ADHD, you get distracted. So you might be super excited about gardening for a minute. You get distracted, you go do some stenciling project for a month, you come back, and then you'd be super discouraged if all your plants are dead. But if you have them in the self-watering system, great. Or just set a timer for once a week to fill up your little watering reservoir, and then you don't have to worry about it. So thanks for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions about the EarthBox containers, and you will see me using them in the greenhouse. I hope to see you again in the greenhouse soon. Bye.
Here I am innocently unpacking my earth boxes for the first time.
Why do you have this inside of you? I think this is just garbage.
Thinking that for some reason they would just shove garbage inside of the tubes. Not garbage. Here I am paying the ADHD tax of not paying attention to what's included in the package and fishing mulch covers out of the garbage. This is how they ship the free 2 mulch covers that come with each of the boxes that you buy. They are nested inside of each other inside the tube. I don't particularly want to use these mulch covers, but I'm going to show you how they work. I don't really need them in my greenhouse. I'm not worried about weed pressure or the top of my soil drying out too much, and that's kind of what they're for. But this is how they would look if you install them, and it turns out they're free.